Happy Monday, everybody. Now, as many of you Ready to Love fans already know, Quentin and Janelle from Ready to Love Dallas are no longer together. Now, who on earth could have seen this coming? I, for one, can say that I was completely blindsided by the news because I really thought that Quentin and Janelle were madly in love with plans of getting married and starting a family before the end of the year. Said nobody ever. In fact, I think that it was abundantly clear that Q and Janelle didn't stand a chance of staying together. But the million-dollar question is, what happens from here? How does Q move on from such a devastating change in his life? Well, good people, it is my opinion that Lee from Ready to Love Dallas should put on her cape and make Q her man. And I think that she should do this because she would be saving Q from Janelle's wrath. She will be saving Q from the backlash of many Ready to Love fans, and most importantly, she will be saving Q from himself. Now, I know that this opinion may be unpopular, but I welcome all the smoke that may come with it. So without any further delay, let's jump right in. Before we jump into the why, we need to examine the how, and that is, how did Q find himself in the situation that we witnessed unfold over the past few months? To answer that question, we need to rewind all the way back to the first few episodes of Ready to Love Dallas, where we as a viewing audience sat back and saw Q building his connections with a number of lovely ladies on the show. One of the connections that stood out the most was his connection with Janelle. And let's keep it real. Janelle is a well put together woman, on the surface at least. And she was getting a lot of attention from the guys during those first few episodes. And from a guy's perspective, I can say that Janelle's assets played a big part in that. In my opinion, Q took a gander at Janelle's assets, and he told himself that giving Janelle that good old pickle tickle was not only in his best interest, but it was an accomplishment that could bring him some joy in his life. But I never once thought that Q was serious about getting married to Janelle and having babies with her, at least not expeditiously. And this was because of their age difference, but most importantly, their connection didn't seem to be based on substance over superficial. Now, whether Q and Janelle actually had crossed that threshold and got it in like two jackrabbits trapped in a tube sock is their business. But all I know is that throughout several scenes this season, Janelle had marked her territory with Q, and she was essentially looking for Q in the daytime with a flashlight whenever he had strayed too far from the den. But Q and Janelle are no longer together, and in my opinion, this is the perfect time for Lee to swoop in and save Q. Now, I know some of you feel that Lee needs to move on to another connection, but let's not kid ourselves with this potential union. In my opinion, Lee is an upgrade over Janelle in every possible way. She's fit, feminine, friendly, she's direct with what she wants and needs from a man, she doesn't project any stalker energy, and most importantly, she's got a smile that can light up Las Vegas. It is my opinion that Lee and Q were the best match cast members for this season of Ready to Love. They had several things in common, they were around the same age, they looked great together, and they could have been the next best couple in Ready to Love history if Q had not missed out on his blessing. But I don't blame Q for ending his connection with Janelle. In my opinion, Q reminded me of the character Norbit from the popular Eddie Murphy movie. You see, Q was Norbit, Janelle was Rasputia, and Lee was Kate. And in my opinion, Q may have kept his distance from Lee because he wanted to protect her from Janelle's wrath. You see, good people, Q was the victim here, and throughout several scenes on the show, he was acting like a hostage whenever dealing with Janelle. So maybe, just maybe, Q did what he did to save Lee, but now he may need Lee to save him. You see, good people, women like Lee are not a dime a dozen. A woman like Lee is indeed a unicorn. She's the type of woman that can make a brother rededicate his life to Jesus without breaking a sweat. She's also the type of woman that could give sight to the blind. Can I get a hallelujah? And it is my fear that if Lee doesn't save Q, then Q will continue to make bad decisions when it comes to who he chooses to date. So I guess the final question is, how should Lee save Q? Well, if any of you have ever seen the movie Love and Basketball, there was another Q who was on the verge of making the biggest mistake in his life, but the love of his life, Monica, intervened and challenged him to a game of basketball. If she won, she would get his heart. I think that Lee should do the same with Q, but instead of challenge him to a game of basketball, she can challenge him to a session of Pilates. If she can outlast him, then she can get his heart. And if she can get his heart, then she can have the type of man that she desires in life. So in closing, I pray that these two rekindle their romance and get things popping since Q's a free agent now. But this marks the end of my video. Feel free to leave all comments below in the comment section, and I'll be sure to reply to everybody. Until next time, stay tuned and stay safe. Peace.